I was an amateur boxer for 3 years, from 18 to 21.
When you came back to the boxing ring for the first time after all those years, did it feel like coming back home or starting over again?
No, it felt like I was starting all over again.
In camp, when things start getting dark mentally, what flips that switch to keep you going?
I'm busy at the gym, I'm busy with training, I'm busy with clients.
How healthy is boxing in this country at the moment?
Boxing in South Africa is a massive culture.
What separates Dricus from the average talent that we see in the cage at EFC?
From a skill perspective, not much. I think it's more mindset.
Boxing and MMA in 10 years in this country, where would you like to see it?
Sure, I'd like to see, obviously, the local promotion pushing more guys internationally for like the UFC.
Your personal legacy, what do you want people to remember about Boyd?
I've never wanted to shy away from a fight.
You could send one message to a young, hungry South African fighter. What would that be?
Believe in yourself.
This episode is powered by Gym Store, your one-stop shop for commercial grade and home gym equipment.
What's up, everyone? We're back on SA's #1 Health and Wellness podcast. Today's guest is a complete combat athlete. He is well known in MMA, well known in the boxing ring, and I'm excited to have him. We've been chatting for a while to get him onto the Endure Edge. Boyd Allen.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Nice
Thank
to
you for
have
having
you
me.
here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I try and keep these intros short because I normally stuff them out.
No, I'm chill.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'm excited. I see you got a fight coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I saw the face off at the last DFC event on YouTube, and I thought if I was your opponent, I wouldn't be rocking up for the fight.
No, like I said, I'm glad he took the fight. It's been a while for me. It's been 3 years since I fought MMA and 4 years since I've been in the EFC cage. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back in there.
Yeah, and you dominated the cage at a while when you were there, and then you pivoted over to boxing. And we spoke just before this started now, and you said you want a title in both. What made you go over to the boxing side?
So I originally started with boxing when I first started combat training. I was an amateur boxer for 3 years, from 18 to 21, and that sort of developed my love for boxing, for fighting in general. And after wanting to go pro for a short period in boxing, the coach that I was with at the time said to me, "There's no future for young guys like yourself in boxing in South Africa," which was 2009 maybe. And it didn't sit too well with me, so I jumped over to MMA, and I thought, let me give that a shot. And got into MMA for a year as an amateur, and then 8 years as a professional before making the jump back to boxing. And that was through the influence of Colin Nathan, Rainer Liebenberg, Warren Ube. I was training at Hotbox at the time, and they liked sparring with me. They were enjoying the sparring, and they said, "Why don't you try Fight Pro? You can handle yourself quite well in the ring. You've got that amateur experience." And I thought, geez, it was just not so long after the Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather sort of thing, and we thought, why don't we do a South African type vibe, and cross over from MMA into the boxing world. And I was lucky enough to be quite successful there, and now I like to jump between both.
When you came back to the boxing ring for the first time after all those years, did it feel like coming back home or starting over again?
No, it felt like I was starting all over again. It was a long time that I was out of the ring, and obviously we had still trained a lot of boxing. You need boxing for MMA, but not as extensively as if you're just training for a boxing fight. But it always helps sharpen up the hands, and I wanted to get the hands sharper, and that's why I started going over for sparring. And through that, decided, okay, we're going to give it a shot. Let's get my pro license and have our first fight.
So the guys in the cage and the guys in the boxing ring, they've got different identities.
Yeah.
It's a different personality. How do you shift between those two? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a show. You're a showman.
Yeah.
And you've got to shift between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually quite crazy, like the two different worlds and the completely different sports that they are. They're both fighting sports, but they're so different. And the people in those sports are so different because they have different views and different training methods, different intensities in their sparring, etc. So the way I've looked at it is I just try and get to the highest level in both. If I can be great in MMA and I can be great in boxing, then no one can really say anything because you're good at both sports.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I wanted to build. And yeah, I'm happy so far. I'm getting to that point where a goal of mine has always been to have a title in both sports while competing in both sports. I've had a title in both, one in MMA and one in boxing. I had fought for the IBO twice in boxing and I won the WBA Pan-African. And I obviously had the EFC featherweight title for a while in 2014. I think I won it. So I've held titles in both sports, but not at the same time while still competing in both sports. So that's what I'm looking at.
Apex, you built it from the ground up.
Yeah.
It's your gym. I know you've got a partner in it.
Yeah.
What was your vision behind that? Was it frustration in what is happening in the gyms, or?
Yeah, so there was obviously a lot going on in the gym at the time, and I think we were just looking for a space where we could train as individuals, as fighters, but also make a living through training our clients, running our classes, etc. And we decided to start Apex, myself and Craig Tunsis, and Richie Kwan had originally come across with us in the beginning and then had gone back to Fight Fit because it was a gym he had established and put so much time into. He felt that he couldn't just leave it as is. He wanted to go back and sort of get stuck in again, which we were happy with, in a sense that he had already helped us sort of build a structure and, you know, get us going on our feet, and just gave us that advice that we needed to get a gym going, you know. And from one thing to the next, we moved location, we grew to a bigger facility, and we have what we have now in Apex with our boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, and MMA structure.
Yeah, I remember the first time I came across the name Apex, and actually you, I did a curtain raiser at a box-up event at Times Square.
Yes, I remember. Ross
I think you were training Ross.
Yes.
Tell me if I'm right.
Yeah, from Prime Circle, yeah.
Yeah, you were training Ross from Prime Circle at the stage.
Yeah.
And I did I was one of the white collar fights.
Okay, so you enjoy it?
Yeah, listen, getting into a ring is not easy.
No, it's not easy. It's a tough game.
Yeah, it's a tough game. But yeah, it was a nice experience. I felt like a celeb that night. Like I felt like a pro fighter.
I think that's also what white collar is supposed to be about. You know, giving someone like yourself a chance to feel it, walk out, have a walkout song, fight in front of a crowd, and not just a small crowd. Then now there was a big crowd there, and just to get that fight feeling. You know, 3 2-minute rounds. The fight goes pretty quick, but the guys are super exhausted, and
it doesn't feel quick, but
that adrenaline dump and just that fight feeling, and that's what that a white collar is supposed to be about. You don't want guys getting hurt. You want them just to experience what it's like to feel that fight night.
Yeah, I remember watching Ross walk out and you guys walk out with him and the whole Apex team.
Yeah,
and I thought, wow, this gym looks amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're a little bit too far for me to get there.
No, we've developed quite a nice community, and there's a nice vibe to the gym. We want guys to enjoy their training. We want it to be a family atmosphere where every type of person from different walks of life can come through the doors and enjoy themselves. You know, there's
from beginners to
exactly, more so than the pro fighters. We obviously have pro fighters fighting out of the gym and training out of the gym, but the main thing is the general community, and I think that's where we find our growth. And a lot of the pro fighters get along so well with all the people in the general community, so they've become sort of one and the same.
Apex is in Parkmore for those that are listening, if they wanted to know.
Yes,
Parkmore and
Santon,
Parkmore Santon.
Yeah.
Guys, pop in there. I've seen the gym, actually. It's amazing.
Thank you, yeah.
So balancing being a coach, business owner, and fighter. Let's chat a bit about that. Tell us a little bit about fight camp. How do you balance it when I'm sure you're in camp at the moment. You got a fight in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How's that balancing happening?
So I think, obviously, I wouldn't be able to do it myself. I've got a really cool team around me. I've got a young, strong up-and-coming team with guys that are super experienced in their own right and very well educated in the fight game in their own right. We've got Shannon Stradham, who's been in the boxing gym since he was 2 years old. I mean, his old man was a boxing trainer.
I was going to say, his old man was...
So very experienced when it comes to Shannon and Hisham Ayed. They're probably the two top boxing coaches. And then we've got jiu-jitsu coaches, Muay Thai with Hisham as well, jiu-jitsu with Craig, Aiden, Hannah. So we've got some nice high-level coaches that come through and they teach and take classes. So I don't take all the classes myself or teach all the classes myself. I jump into some of the classes, boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, etc. So yeah, I think it's due to the fact that I've got a cool team around me that also help me with regards to running the gym, running the classes, and they get their own training in, etc., and their own sort of private client training, so throughout the day, that's kind of what they're busy with. And they help me when it comes to running the structured classes of the gym. And then I've just got to manage sort of my private clients and my training for my fight career and my fight camp.
Okay. A typical day at the moment in camp?
So I'm probably looking at 2 to 3 sessions of training a day. I train one set of clients in the afternoon, and then I run probably 2 classes a week for MMA. But from a training perspective, it's strength and conditioning, fight training session, and then a recovery session. So sometimes that's 3 days a week, and then 2 sessions on the other 2 days a week. Sunday, a recovery session. Saturday, just 1 fight session.
Okay, so you're 2 weeks out of your fight at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. That we all see it on TV, on movies, UFC with the guys that are coming in for the weigh-in. Is that all true, what we see? The guys dehydrating themselves, trying to drop weight?
Yeah, definitely. I've had some crazy experiences with weight cuts before. So it's not a joke. You can hurt yourself. I was in ICU for 4 days, and it took me a long time to recover, probably 3 months without any training.
Sure.
And that was forced. It wasn't because I wanted to do that. So I think, weight cut can be very dangerous if done incorrectly. And as we speak, I'm still losing weight to cut weight for the fight. So I've still got a little bit to go, but there's 2 weeks still. And it's looking good, and I'm maintaining pretty well. But it's so easy just to, not be disciplined, lose focus for a second, smash all chocolate in your mouth. And I mean, I think it can be severe to some guys if they do it incorrectly and you hurt yourself.
So let's talk about that discipline a bit. MMA teaches kicks, takedowns, submissions, but boxing is basically one weapon that you work on.
Yeah.
How has that sharpened you mentally?
So
in both disciplines?
I think I always had and always enjoyed a high level of boxing to an extent, but it's so different with regards to MMA. The range is different, your timing is different, the size of the gloves are different. Defending and catching punches in boxing is very different to defending and catching punches in MMA. If you're that close in MMA, punches are probably getting through those gaps, whereas with the boxing glove, you can catch them and you can block them. And then obviously there's the use of elbows. So you have to be very wary of your range and your distance. And it's also a very different sport. Boxing, you've got your 2 tools, yes, but there's so much that you need to focus on. You're in close quarters the whole time. The guy's consistently on top of you while you thinking, moving, striking, defending, eating punches, blocking punches, whatever it is, where MMA can be a little bit different with regards to the space, the timing, and the amount of activity. or it can be the complete opposite, and it can be a complete scramble for 5 rounds, and that can also drain you, make you super tired. So I think a lot of guys think that they're quite similar, but they're so different.
Yeah. In camp, when things start getting dark mentally, what flips that switch to keep you going?
Phew, I've been doing it for a while, so it's difficult. I mean, it's easy enough for me to say, I'm not going to do this fight. I got to go through another camp. I'm busy at the gym. I'm busy with training. I'm busy with clients, and to want to do it is one thing, but to want to do it and to do it properly is another thing. There's a lot of guys that I know that have been in and out of the game, and when they come back and they get into the cage again, they're not the same as what they used to be. I don't believe that I would have fallen behind. In fact, I think I've gotten better. Boxing has only kept me sharp. It's a really tough game, and that's why a lot of MMA guys don't go across to boxing. They can't handle just being in there with a guy who can box. And I've seen that. And vice versa. A lot of boxers don't go across to MMA because there's too many aspects that they don't understand. They might be great fighters and natural big punchers, great boxers, good movers, but it's very different now all of a sudden when you're being clinched and you're being grappled and you're taken down and you're being ground and pounded. So, like I said, completely different sports with different mindsets altogether.
Your last fight was unfortunately a loss. As a professional fighter, how do you come back from that? Do you take a break mentally? How do you come back from it? Because obviously you're disappointed. I mean,
so
it's a normal human nature to be disappointed.
Yeah, and obviously you want to do well. You want to perform well. You want to win fights. My old man said to me, "What would you prefer? Would you prefer to have the best fight of your life and lose, or the worst and win?" And obviously, when you're young and you're up and coming, you go, "No, I want to win." And he goes, "Does that make sense? So you have the worst performance of your life. You still win, but you never want to watch that fight again.
Yeah.
Or you have the worst performance or your best performance of your life against one of the best fighters you've ever fought, and you lose. You'll watch that fight 100 times.
Yeah, because you've learned from it.
You've learned. So loss isn't a bad thing. It's more about your performance on the night, the way you may have lost. Getting knocked out is never nice. Yes, you take time off after that. You need to rebuild your entire structure, let your body have a rest, let the brain recover from big impact. I feel like a lot of guys get back in there way too soon. They don't give their body their time to rest and recover, and then they get clipped again and they get knocked out again. And that consistently happens because they don't give themselves enough time to heal correctly. You should take about 4 months off, no contact with training or anything after a knockout. And that's being nice.
Yeah, no, it's a dangerous sport, and guys must wake up actually, because I mean they can die in that ring.
Yeah,
and then it puts this damper on the sport. But at the end of the day, it's the athlete who just wanted to come back, and I get it.
Yes.
It's your career. You're making money.
Exactly.
If you're not fighting, you're not making money.
You want to be active, and a lot of guys take their health for granted when it comes to that. So I've tried to be smart in that respect, look after the body, get fully recovered, and then start training again and rebuild myself from the ground up, which is what I've done for this camp.
After fights, do you go for brain scans and all of that?
Yeah, so we always have to do MRIs, and CT scans, concussion tests.
Is it like the fighting law? Is it part of...
Yeah, so when you fight, before the fight, you obviously have to do your blood tests, your MRIs, your CT scans, your concussion tests, especially with jumping between both sports. One doesn't want to be responsible if I get hurt in boxing. MMA doesn't want to be responsible and vice versa. But in order to mitigate that, we have to do an MRI or CT scan just to show them that I've not taken any damage. I'm still in good health, and I'm healthy and strong to compete.
South Africa. Let's talk. You spoke about it in the beginning, where in 2010, around about there, they said, don't go professional boxer. How healthy is boxing in this country at the moment?
Boxing in SA is unbelievable. We've got such great talent. We've got such depth when it comes to our fighters. Every division is stacked. There's a lot of guys that we have to choose from. And boxing in South Africa is a massive culture. I think here in Joburg, Durban, Port Elizabeth. So the boxing is super strong in South Africa. We've got great fighters that are doing super well all around the world. They don't get the exposure and the sort of feedback from the community that they should be getting, because we've got some really high level fighters that are competing all around the world. We've got guys in Saudi that have all just got to the semi-finals.
Why
Didn't
is
make
it
to
so
the
quiet
finals.
though? Because I remember growing up, in even after high school, where you had the Corey Sanders, the Brian Mitchells, even back in the day, Harold Fulbrach, even
know,
Sebastian Rothman at a stage was coming up.
I think it's starting to grow and to get better now. We've got guys like Kevin Lerena putting on Aquila Promotions, Colin Nathan putting on Boxing 5 with Larry Weinstein, and
I see there's a fight club thing, a Fight Island happening in Cape Town
with Matt Lishing. There's Warrior Ascent with Brad, and these are all guys that are trying to put on promotions that are doing really well at what they're wanting to do outside of just Golden Gloves, which kind of monopolized the industry for a while, and made it very difficult for other promoters to put on shows and put on fights to keep fighters active. So at a stage, there was just sort of the athletes that were signed to Golden Gloves that were actively competing and getting paid, where there were one or two other small promotions that weren't really up there. Now we've got 4 or 5 promotions that fighters can look at going to compete at, and that's just going to help the sport grow.
You mentioned Kevin Lerena, and I want to talk a little bit about him. And obviously, Dricus du Plessis. He became UFC champion. When that happened, did that trickle down to the gyms?
Definitely.
That was a big moment.
Definitely. We saw, one of the biggest things we saw when Dricus won was the increase in kids in the gym. I think parents started to go, okay, well, there's a future in the sport that my kid likes so much. He's constantly bugging me to go to training and to do jiu-jitsu and MMA and boxing. Parents can be suspect when it comes to the fighting game. We kind of sell it as a self-defense for kids, but it's more a confidence thing. It's more building confidence.
Definitely.
And just getting them to believe that if something were to happen, or if they were going to get bullied or whatever, they're not made of glass. They can look after themselves, and they give off that confidence that no one really wants to pick on them anyway. But the increase in youngsters in the gyms has definitely picked up since Dricus won that middleweight title. And I think the sport in general has just got a lot more eyes on it. So he's been unbelievable for the growth of MMA in this country.
So Dricus and there's Cameron. They both come from losses. Cameron's was a bit uglier than Dricus's in the sense he got knocked out quite early on. Are we going to see, let's start with Cameron maybe. Are we going to see Cameron back at the UFC? Well, Dana White, Dana White seems like sorry, Dana, if you listen, I don't think he's going to watch my podcast. But
you never know.
The Dana seems hard. You get a knockout like that, I'm not going to bring you back.
Look, I think he gives guys a lot of chances. Cam is a great athlete. He's young, and that's
where there was promise there.
Yeah, so I mean, he's still got time. If he wants to, he can sort of fix the holes in his game and get another shot, whether it's in a UFC numbered fight or a contender series. But I'm sure Cam will get another shot. And with Dricus losing, it was one loss out of so many beautiful wins and so many good performances, where a lot of people thought he's never going to win this one. And I mean, he proved them wrong time and time again. So, yes, I think his last fight was a super difficult one to deal with, stylistically. I've been there. I fought in Russia. I was in the same position for 3 rounds, getting my face smashed in with elbows. It's not nice. It's not easy. And it was so funny listening to the crowd. Just get up, just get up.
Easier said than done.
This guy's been wrestling since he was 4 years old, at the highest level there is, with the best wrestlers in the world that there are. You're not just going to get up.
No.
It takes years and years of practice and training, specifically with that sort of wrestling style, to be able to get a guy like Chimaev off of you. That being said, he stuck it out for 5 rounds, and not many people would have done that. He could have.
And he almost had him.
Yeah, he could
there was
promising
times
and given up, but he didn't. He fought through. took his beating like a man for 25 minutes. And I don't think that's going to demotivate him in any way. I think it will just motivate him to get back on the horse and get back in there stronger.
What separates Dricus from the average talent that we see in the cage at EFC?
From a skill perspective, not much. I think it's more mindset. Dricus has a lot of self-belief. He believes he's going to win, and there's not an inch of self-doubt when he tells you that. You can see it in his eyes and you can hear it in his voice. And I think that's a massive thing for him. He just truly believes he's going to be the best and he's going to win. And he's proven that to us. So I think a lot of guys out there put a lot of pressure on themselves to be the best, to get to the top. Just have that self-belief. Believe in yourself and you'll go very far with that.
Your camp, how important is that to get further out of this country?
So I think from experience, we've seen that we can do amazing things from South Africa and fighting out of South Africa. We've got great fighters, we've got great minds in the sports, great coaches, great training partners. And I've been lucky enough to travel around to different countries and train with different people and different coaches and met some amazing coaches and amazing training partners. But when you get to that gym, wherever it may be, you're just a number. There's tons of people that walk in and out of that gym every day. So you're nothing special to those fighters that are there training out of their pro team. They're not just going to welcome you with open arms. It's going to take you 3-4 months to get into that training circle of high-level athletes. And we don't have that time or money as South Africans. We might go over for a month to the States, and it costs a lot. Where those guys there travel to and from different gyms around the world, it's not hard for them to do that. And that's where they get that sort of luxury of getting different experiences around the world. South Africa, it's hard. It's not easy to do that, but we're super lucky in the passion that we have here, the training partners that we have here, and the coaching that we have here. Guys are passionate. They love what they do. And they just want to get to the next level. And obviously do well for themselves, for their friends, for their teams, for their families. So it's nice to see the South African fighters up and coming and growing in the sport so well.
I'm glad you're saying that, because to be honest, sitting from the outside, it looks like it's almost dying down again. I remember going to go watch EFC at Carnival City, and you couldn't get tickets, and when you did, it was amazing. And
we used to have 4,000-5,000 people there. It was awesome.
Do they still? Apparently, it's a smaller venue now.
Yeah, so now it's more of a boutique venue, smaller crowd. I think COVID obviously pushed them towards that, and they're starting to build back up from that.
So they hope for a bigger stadium again?
Yeah, so I think there was talks about Grand West in Cape Town again, where myself and Don Madge fought each other. We had 4,500 people in that stadium, so that was.
And
really
you want
cool.
that as an athlete again?
You want to walk out to a massive crowd. I mean, Cameron Simon is putting on that Murabur in Pretoria with 3,500-4,000 people.
I was watching some of those videos actually.
With some amateur and pro fighters. I said to my team when we were competing there, I said, this is what you want to fight in front of. You want to fight in front of a crowd like this. You want to hear that roar of the crowd. I fought boxing in COVID, and I fought Bruno Makulu during COVID times or just after, and it was a super quiet arena, super small crowd, and it just doesn't bring that same vibe. We want to be fighting in big arenas with thousands of people coming to watch. And I think as athletes that put in the work that we do, we want that, we want to experience that and feel that and get that energy from the crowd. So I think EFC will get back there pretty soon.
Awesome. Okay, that's also good news. Kevin Lerena, world-class boxer.
Yeah.
Cruiserweight division,
Bridgerweight
and heavyweight.
Yeah.
I know he holds, I think is it the WBO Bridgerweight title at the moment. And he's doing a lot for South African boxing, as you said, the Quella Promotions. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, Quella Promotions.
What separates Kevin? I mean, Kevin's been going for a while now, and he's been top of his game.
Yeah.
I know he's had 1 or 2 losses in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's going to Saudi now, Dubai.
So I think what Kevin's done right is he's also got the business side of things right on the boxing side. He's got good people around him. He's got good investors and backers that believe in his vision. You've got guys from Tigris and from HP and from World Sports Betting, and so many guys that back him and believe in his vision, and they want to see the sport do well, and they want the growth of the sport in this country. So I think his drive, his business mind, and his hunger to compete. He loves competing. And it doesn't matter if it's boxing, if it's high rocks, it doesn't matter. He just
I
loves
see he's
to
become a
compete,
hybrid athlete.
Yeah, so
I saw a podcast yesterday, actually done here in these studios, where he's actually investing in a gym. A friend of mine, Dom's gym, actually. Yeah.
So he's just invested into RPM now, and I think he looks at things in a community perspective as well. He wants good people around him, and he wants to grow the sport, but also just grow the community and get a good understanding around the sport. Combat sports in South Africa is still not massively known from household to household. You've got your super fans, and then you've got your guys that sort of follow the sport on a day-to-day.
The weekend warriors.
Yes, exactly. So I think just getting it out there and making it bigger and better, and Kev's very good at doing that. He's also a great guy to deal with when it comes to the business side of things. I fought on his promotion before. Great guy to deal with, super professional when it comes to the contractual side of things, the promotion, running an event, treating the fighters unbelievably well, which makes us want to fight on his show again. So I think it's just going to keep growing and growing.
That's awesome. Dricus and Kevin, put them side by side. What do their stories tell us or tell you about getting out of the SA fight bubble?
So it shows us first and foremost that it's possible. A lot of guys hit the ceiling here, and then they don't know where to go or what the next step is, and they start sort of jumping around for any sort of fly-by-night manager that will give you a fight in either the UAE or in Brave or in one of the promotions around the world. And they're not really there to look at your best interests. They're more there to manage you for that fight, take their percentage of that purse, and then you might hear from them again, you might not. Where they've got it right is they've stuck with their team, they've done it correctly, and they've done things themselves. They've sort of paved their road themselves, and they realize no one's going to do it for them. So I think they've both sort of given it a shot from that perspective. They're also super lucky in the sense that their divisions need fighters, and South Africa has a great heavyweight and bridgerweight boxer, and we've got a great middleweight fighter. We've got great other heavyweight boxing champions and fighters. So I think there'll be a lot of feed through the door into the bigger promotions around the world, like the UFC or Risen, etc. So,
and I also think when I was planning this and I thought of that question, I also think loyalty is a big thing. And like you said, they stuck with their teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know of Kevin, and tell me if I'm wrong, being with another team other than the Smith camp.
He's been with Peter for a long time.
Yeah. Dricus with, is it CIT?
For 4 years with Colin, and then he went through to Peter, and Dricus, I think, has been with CIT for ages.
Yeah.
He originally started at FFM, and then I don't think it was there for too long, and then moved over to CIT.
Started at the pubs in Hearties.
Yeah, him and Esty.
Yes, I think loyalty is important.
Yes,
and I think both sports show that.
Yeah, definitely. You need good people around you. You need people that have your best interest at heart, that want to see you do well, and they're willing to put in that work with you.
Fighters like Dricus and Kevin, do you think they're inspiring the next generation, or showing how rare that level of success is?
No, I know they are.
Okay, good.
You hear it all the time when people mention MMA or boxing. Those are two names you hear that come up with those sports. Whether it's youngsters or the older generation, those are the names they know. You know, if there's an older gent I speak to, he'll say, "Hey, did you hear about this guy Dricus du Plessis? You know, he's a UFC champion." I said, "Yeah, we train with him, and he's done this and he's done that." And we you know, you start chatting a little bit about it, and you realize, geez, before that, this guy knew nothing about the sport. But now that he's achieved what he has, just some random gent that's never been involved in the fighting game at all is talking about it in the barbershop, or, you know, that type of thing. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm glad we've had this conversation because it shows that there's promise in this country for
There
combat
definitely
sports.
is. There's a lot of promise, and there's a lot of athletes that are hungry and they want it. So I'm excited to see where the next 5 to 10 years of growth in not just boxing and MMA, but combat sports in general around the world. I think it's going to get to a whole new level.
I want to go back to Apex a bit.
Yeah.
You said it's not just a gym; it's a movement, it's a community.
Yeah.
What type of fighter are you trying to build there, physically and mentally?
So I've never really intended on building fighters as from a professional standpoint. That's kind of happened by default, by purely having those guys in the gym and them wanting to train at a higher level. But we want the guys to have a mindset of work smarter, not harder, and train with the right people, with the right intention behind those training sessions. So a lot of guys train hard, and we see that a lot. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But sometimes they're training for no reason, with no vision in mind or no goal ahead. And sometimes that's super hard to do. Training hard with no
It's hard to stay consistent.
target, So it's not the incorrect thing. We just try and educate them correctly with regards to the fighting sports. I want guys to know that if they're a blue belt in jiu-jitsu at Apex, they could be a blue belt in jiu-jitsu anywhere around the world at any gym. And that's pretty much all we're looking at doing, is keeping that level honest and making sure the guys compete and stay active. That's a big thing.
A 17-year-old walks into your gym, says, Boyd, coach, I want to be world champ.
Yeah.
What is the speech you give to him, the brutal, honest speech?
So it depends. I mean, you've got kids that walk in there with no training whatsoever, and they're hungry and they want to learn. And the best thing to say is, okay, bro, jump into training. This is what I need you to do. This is how much training you're expected to do if you want to get to a certain level by a certain time to get into a fight. And we're not going to put you in there if you're not ready. That motivates the guys quite a bit, and they want to prove to not just the coaches but to themselves that they can jump in there, even if it's just for an amateur fight. Then you get youngsters that walk in there with a crazy background. We've had a little youngster walk in not so long ago, a wrestling world champion. He can box, he can kick, he can clinch, he can pretty much do it all with guys at my level, and he's 17 years old. Wow. And then he goes, Coach, I want to be a world champion. I'm going, I believe you, bro, and you're probably going to be. So I mean, there's certain individuals that you can just see have that spark and have that flame, and then there's others that have an idea in their head that they want this, but they're not quite sure what's needed or how to go about it, and that's where we come in, and you kind of have to guide them in the correct way. And sometimes you have to be honest with them and say, this is maybe not something that you're going to be designed for, because it's not for everybody. I don't really like to do that unless it's completely necessary. Like if somebody's sort of heads up in the clouds about what they think they're going to be doing and what work they actually put in. But you always want to motivate the guys to get to a better level than what they're at.
So I've noticed boxing gyms, not everyone, most people walk in there have got a past, have got a story. A lot of boxers, you talk to them, even on the pro levels, boxing saved me. How much of those stories do you see in your gym, where the guy comes from an alcoholic background, a drug addict background, or he was adopted or whatever?
Yeah, I think where that comes in is a lot of guys get into dark or go into dark places in their lives, and they end up getting into fighting or into alcohol abuse or drug abuse or whatever it is. And the training and the discipline that is enforced when you start something like boxing or mixed martial arts is what saves them. Not the fact that they're fighting, but the fact that they now have to commit their lives to something completely different if they want to achieve in that sport. And fighting is hard, but it's also a crazy adrenaline rush, which a lot of people look for. And in order to have that, you need to be fit, you need to be ready, you need to be training, you need to be focused in order to get in there and get into a fight and perform at that level. And when you do all those things, and it pays off and your hands raised, there's no better feeling. And I think that's why they say it saved them, because it's given them something to really commit their lives to. And if they don't, they're not going to get the result that they're looking for. So yes, we all come from a different type of background, some better than others, some tougher than others. But at the end of the day, it's the mindset that you have going into every day's session, every day's training. You can only be a natural fighter for a period of time. And I think we've seen that in this country a lot. In the beginning, all the guys that were fighting were brawlers, street fighters, guys who came from different combat backgrounds that had nothing to do with MMA, that were getting into the cage and testing themselves. And it's grown into a sport where you've got youngsters in gyms learning from 6 years old now in mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu or whatever it is. So I think the level is just growing increasingly, or it's increasing year by year. You can see the different level of amateurs coming through. And even now, you still see some of the guys with stories and how the training and the fighting has sort of changed their lives. We've got guys in the gym that have all come from different backgrounds, good and bad, and they all tell me the same thing. Fighting has changed their lives. But it gives them that motivation and that discipline. It's also something that if you work hard for it, you get the results. There's no way around it. There's no cheat code. It is what it is. What you put in is what you get out.
Yeah, and once you start getting stuff out, you want more.
Exactly.
It's never enough.
I think they start to see that there's a path here. There's something that they can achieve. People respect it, so they go, geez, no one knew me. But I started training at this gym. I'm doing well. I've won 1 or 2 amateur fights. Now when I walk in, everyone says hello. They know who I am. I'm a coach for the kids class or whatever the case is. And you can just see that individual growing day by day, and he's more motivated. He wants to get better. He's excited about life, and that's what you want.
And that alone must be, I see your eyes light up when
awesome.
you talk about that. Alone must be therapy for you.
It's awesome. I love it.
We keep speaking guys, ladies in South Africa. And I'm going to say especially on the MMA side, because you see them in the UFC.
Yeah.
And you see big fights. There was a big boxing fight that I think Logan or
Paul Logan.
Were those two where they had like the trilogy even, Kate and I can't remember their names.
Yeah. So I think in combat sports in South Africa, the females are starting to achieve now quite a bit in the amateur scenes. There's quite a few females that are winning world champs or getting to the finals or the semi-finals. We haven't managed to break the UFC market yet with regards to females, but there's a lot of great pro female athletes in the UFC, and we've got good female fighters. I think same as the guys, they don't come from easy backgrounds. They're there to fight, and they want to progress and get somewhere in their lives. So they're super hungry, and they're willing to train. I've trained with a lot of female fighters, and they train hard. They put in a lot of work. Monique van Staden's world champion in jiu-jitsu for America and Europeans, and I roll with Monique all the time. We call her Mouse, and make
She's
no mistake,
definitely no mouse.
if you make a mistake with her, she will tap you. So
even being a male,
yeah. There's some youngsters that we've got in the gym. They come and roll open mats, like Millie Ben David, and she's been doing jiu-jitsu her whole life. And she's made so many boys cry.
That's awesome.
I think she's 12 or 13 years old, and if a 12 or 13-year-old boy were to roll with her, she completely destroys them in jiu-jitsu. But I think that's where it's starting. Jiu-jitsu is also growing the sport in MMA unknowingly or knowingly, because that's kind of where the athletes start out. They start out with the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling, and they move on to possibly competing in MMA. So I think that's also helping the growth of sport for men and women in martial arts.
That's awesome to see women coming up.
Yeah.
That's
and,
amazing.
and there's quite a few of them that are doing really well, and we're excited to see where they go.
Boxing and MMA in 10 years in this country, where would you like to see it?
Sure, I'd like to see, obviously, the local promotion pushing more guys internationally for like the UFC, Bellator, PFL, Risen, whatever it is. just to get them out there and to make sure that we're on the same level as the rest of the world. I think we've got a lot to learn when it comes to the wrestling aspect of things as South Africans. We're competing against countries where they start at 3-4 years old, where they've got 100 kids on the mat wrestling in the gyms every day. And we can see that with the higher level athletes that we have in this country when it comes to the wrestling aspect. The guys battle. Not all the time, but it's a big possibility. And I think in 10 years' time in this country, it would be nice to see the level of wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, just on par with the rest of the world at least. We've got great athletes, number 1 and number 2 in the world, with Luke Griffiths in jiu-jitsu. So we're not far off. We've got the ability, we've got the mindset and the skill set, and now we just need the numbers.
And we've got the talent.
We've got the talent. We've got more talent than most places around the world. And South Africa is an awesome place to train in.
Your personal legacy, what do you want people to remember about Boyd?
I think, obviously, when it comes to the fighting side of things, I've never wanted to shy away from a fight. I've sometimes made stupid decisions in my career, but if someone says, what was Boyd like as a fighter, be like, he'd fight anytime, anywhere, anyone, doesn't matter. And I think that sort of mindset is what I try and push onto the guys. I want you guys to understand that what you're doing is not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. So you got to accept that. And just to be a good person, you don't need to be egotistical when it comes to the fighting game. You don't need to walk into a room and be the biggest guy in the room. You need to teach people that martial arts is about discipline. It's about focus, concentration, and just day-to-day little habits that make such a big difference in so many people's lives. So I think that the gym and running a sort of community, family-orientated space where people are welcome from all different walks of life. That's what I'd like to leave.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you could send one message to a young, hungry South African fighter, what would that be?
Yeah, I think believe in yourself. Don't listen to anyone else when it comes to the negative side of things, because a lot of people are pessimistic straight off the bat. I think you need to be around good people, with a good team, with good hearts and good mindsets, and give it everything you got, you'll get to the top.
I'm going to end the podcast with that. I love that so much.
Sure.
Thank you for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for taking us behind the gloves, sharing your journey.
Pleasure.
Your inspiration. You've got the next generation watching.
Yeah. Want them to do well.
Fight in 2 weeks. Just before we go, I want to wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Okay, like I said, if I was him, I wouldn't be pitching up for the fight. I saw that face off.
Yeah.
Go do your best.
I will do.
May it be one of those fights that you can look back on.
That's it.
No matter what the outcome is.
Yeah.
All the best for that fight.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for taking time out of your camp to be here today.
And
we'll be watching. Just for everyone to know, how do we watch the fight? Where is it on DSTV?
Yeah, so it should be on Super Sports and EFC streaming channel.
Is it an afternoon thing or evening thing?
The fights will start at, I think, 4 o'clock or 3:30 or 4 o'clock with the prelims. The main card should start at 7, and I'm the main event, so I'll be the last fight of the night. Probably around 9:30.
Awesome. Other fights to look at before you?
All the fights on the card are great fights. I think there's going to be some exciting ones. Steve Gonzalez is fighting as well. He fights out of Apex, and he's training in Thailand at Bang Tao at the moment. So he's on the card, and he's always an exciting fighter to watch. So keep a lookout for him. I think that'll be a nice one to watch as well.
Steve Gonzalez's brother is actually my son's stepdad.
Okay. Yeah, so
I just said his name.
Yes.
Guts, eh?
Yes.
That's what they call it.
Steven
Yes.
Guts Gonzalez,
So my son loves him, and he's so good to my son. So
so I think another nice fight to watch on the card, and also one of the old school boys that's been in the game for a long time.
awesome.
So nice to see him performing and doing well.
Well, all the best for all of you. And if there's any other fighters from your gym that night,
Sure.
may you guys go smash it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.